What made me say yes to Fate Wellness Centers was Dr. Ben's conviction. Like, when he talks, you know he knows what he's talking about, and I think that really helps build the trust, and then also the team and everything when I went through the process of scheduling, everybody has the best customer service, and I am a stickler about that. So I enjoyed every bit of the process. And then after going through my blood work and everything, when they were like, hey, this is the plan, this is where we go from here, I've got nowhere else to turn, and they were exactly what I needed. Hi, my name is Jennifer Griffin. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I do social media and sales for a living. Crazy because I feel like fate brought Dr. Ben's video to me on TikTok. I was at my lowest point mentally. I was going through a huge depression. My anxiety was an all-time high. For the first time in my life, had been on daily anxiety medication, which I had never needed before. My mother, she had passed away from a sudden heart attack. It was very traumatic. It was completely unexpected. The reason that my anxiety kind of started stemming was she had told my sister just moments before, she's like, I'm feeling anxious. So for me, my brain immediately said, if you are anxious, you are going to die. Like, it was the perfect storm to set me up for the worst journey to come mentally. My anxiety would give me chest pains. I would go to the ER and they'd be like, you're fine. From there, my health really started to decline. Right before I found Dr. Ben, I had gained like 20 pounds in a year without changing anything about my diet, my non exercise. I knew something was going on. My health had just kept declining, and I was diagnosed with POTS. When I would stand up, my heart rate would jump over 30 points. So, getting up to just use the bathroom like a couple steps away, I felt like I had just run a marathon. And I was like, something is wrong though, like worse than I ever thought. They basically were like, here's a beta blocker. Have a nice life. We'll see you in 6 weeks. And I'm like, what does this mean? They don't tell you anything. Primary care doesn't either. I feel like they don't dive deep enough. And right at that time after my diagnosis, like clockwork, Dr. Ben's cheerful face comes on my FYP on TikTok. And he was talking about thyroid, which I have thyroid issues, and POTS. And I was like, I need an appointment. They did the deep dive blood work. I would have never known that I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I would have never known that. And I've been to a million doctors. Literally, I've had my thyroid panel done at my current primary, and they have said nothing to me about Hashimoto's. Like, it's just so frustrating because they don't give you direction on how to fix it. They just make you feel like this is it and you just deal with it. So I didn't have any hesitations. I felt like it was literally destiny for them in my life. And so I was like, I'm doing this. What surprised me the most about working with Dr. Ben was actually Amy Anderson. She is my health coordinator that has been working alongside Dr. Ben. And I actually had some underlying stuff going on. I was super reactive in my gut to everything I was eating. And so she created this whole plan for me, and literally healing my gut has healed me of my anxiety. A month into working with Amy and Dr. Ben, I was off of my anxiety medicine. It has changed my life. I can eat foods now without reactions, and my overall wellness, I have energy. Like, her slightly getting a little emotional. This whole process has just changed my life. Before, like I said, just dealing with anxiety and depression, and also I had zero energy, and I have children. I have two children, and just not having the energy to put into them was really hard for me. I would be ready to take a nap in the middle of the day. My kids were super supportive of me, and my daughter even said, like, early on, she was like, "Mommy, I've, like, noticed you're not as grumpy anymore," because when you feel better, you're just in a better state of mind. I'm actually have been training the last few weeks for a 5K race, which is insane. So I went from not being able to stand up without my heart rate jumping to healing my gut, healing my pot symptoms, and I have a 5K race in 2 weeks. Like, they have given me my life back. And my body has now been able to finally relax enough to start getting on its own cadence where I start getting sleepy at the same time every night. I would lay in bed for 5 hours before and not be able to sleep. And so I had noticed changes like that within about 2.5 weeks of changing my diet, cutting out processed sugars, no carbs, no dairy, no gluten. It was just remarkable, and then I really started to realize, and it hit me, how important gut health is and how everything in your body comes from your gut. I'm so passionate about how they have changed my life. When you have a 180 in your health, you want to share it and it becomes exciting and you're thankful and grateful. Like, I will never forget Dr. Ben and Amy and the Wellness Center because they literally gave me my life back. The way that they set out a path for you to have success, that would be the biggest thing for me to say to someone if they're on the edge is just give yourself the chance because you owe it to yourself to have the best health that you could ever have.